Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cabral Concept, a brand new week here. Excited to get into our Motivation and Mindset Monday show of the week. Today we're going to be talking about, are you waiting for the perfect plan in order to get started? Have you been waiting for the perfect plan in order to get started, and have you found it yet? So what I want to do is I actually want to share with you that perfect plan here today, because if you've been procrastinating or you've simply been trying to get it just right before getting started, I'll share with you the equation of the most successful people I know, of the high performers in most industries, what they do, what they've learned to hopefully shorten your learning curve. So I always love to share with you this as well, is that this really does come from the real world. So I've been in a clinical practice now for about 20 years, or essentially 22 years full-time. And before that, many years part-time. And I've had the pleasure, and honestly, it's been tremendously gratifying in my own life to be able to see a lot of these principles from natural health and science and even, I would say conventional based psychology and philosophies play out in the real world. And what I mean by that is that my team and I have now seen well over 250,000 people working really hard for the past 20 years. And we get to just see who's doing well, why they're doing well, and what does it look like from when they start a plan on day 1 to day 90 to a year, 2 years, 5 years later. Who are the people that are most successful? What do they do? How do they plan? How do they structure their life? And so that's what I try to share with you, really applicable based, I would say, success tips on these Monday shows in order to move you forward without all of the mistakes that most people have to make in order to get it right. So again, if you can learn from others, that is the absolute best way to do it. I try to do it that way now. Back in the day, I think I had to learn everything the hard way. I wouldn't say that I'm perfect by any means. I still certainly learn things the hard way. But now if I can learn from other people's mistakes and save myself a year, 5 years, 10 years, of course, I want to do that. So I want to share some of that with you today. I'll get into kind of my perfectionist-based mindset and how that didn't serve me in just a few moments. But, the first thing I have to ask you is that, have you set your plan in place yet? And if you don't know what that means, I definitely recommend going back to previous Mindset and Motivation Mondays. There's over 400 shows now. You can just find those by going to stephencabral.com/podcasts. Just scroll through the images at the top and click the Mindset and Motivation Monday. That will certainly give you the backlog of those shows. They are evergreen, meaning like it is a philosophy that's going to stand the test of time. And that is because none of it is essentially my wisdom or creations. It is gathering all of this beautiful information from the past many thousand years of recorded history from every major religion, every major philosopher, so on and so forth, and just kind of bringing that to quantum physics and modern day science that we know it. So the first thing is, though, we need to make sure that you have a plan. So and the plan really doesn't have to be concrete. It's more like you need to know what direction you want to move in. So it always goes back for me to kind of my big 5, and most people have others that just kind of fall in these buckets. So there's your relationships, and the relationships are just different. It's like, okay, you have a different relationship with your children than with your spouse, than with your maybe even girlfriend, boyfriend, significant other, your parents, your grandparents, coworkers, etc. But it's at least a bucket. Like what are your goals for those relationships? How much of a priority is it for you? Maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe it's not a huge priority for right now. Maybe getting back your health is. Okay, so health is another bucket to look at in our life. Another one is our overall body transformation. Now you can say that's part of health, but I think for the most part, a lot of people, what they try to do for their body and transform their body isn't always synonymous with health. So I put it in a separate one. Because you can be very, very healthy and not necessarily have the ideal body that you want for you. And again, that's everybody's decision on their own terms. And then we have our spirituality. How connected do you feel with the world around you? How at peace are you in your life? It could be religion, or it could be the universe, the world around you, however you're looking at it. And then there's typically a financial, and that could be career, finances, and even passion in there as well. So what I want you to do is just choose one of those goals. And you've heard me mention this before, but that's not going to be the topic of today's show. You still have to have a goal. You have to have a direction. A lot of people say they're unhappy. A lot of people say they're anxious. And I talk with them every single day in my practice. And I just say, okay, well, what are we worried about? That's an honest question. What are you worried about? And they actually, oftentimes they're like, oh, well, I don't know. So many different things. Okay, well, let's talk about it, right? Let's just put those out there on the table. No judgment. What are you worried about? And oftentimes it's the same things that have been recurring in their life, and they're, for lack of a better term, tripping over those every single day as to what their worries are. And again, I've been there myself, so I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. It's part of a natural human emotion, and I would say evolution as a human being, meaning to your greater potential. But what I would share with you is that there is a way out of that. If whatever worries you, we need to take action on. That's the truth. Because whatever the thing is that you're most afraid of, there's definitely a plan that mitigates some of that worry. Meaning it allows you to do something to offset what may go wrong. It's a great first place to start. I put that quote out on Instagram quite a bit. It's listen, one of the best ways to reduce anxiety is to take action. Take action on what worries you. So if you don't have a goal, then just start with what worries you. That'll be your first action, right? So that'll at least be the starting point. Now, a lot of people then say, okay, I know what my goal is, but I'm waiting for the right time. I'm waiting because I've got a wedding coming up. Oh, it's my daughter's birthday. Then I have a vacation planned, and then it's a holiday. And so again, I look at I'm already setting up my calendar for next year. There's no perfect time, right? I'm traveling essentially twice a month, speaking, meetings. I've got family trips planned, all sorts of different things. I've got work, I've got this, I've got that. There's never a perfect time. There literally isn't. So if you were waiting for that perfect time, you're oh no, perfect time is going to be in 6 weeks from now. Okay, fine. But you probably said that to yourself before. And when 6 weeks comes, I'm guaranteeing you something pops up as well. Because if you're looking to start a 21-day plan, most people need 3 weeks. That's just the bottom line. You want to see results? 3 weeks, 21 days. 21 days of health, 21 days of diet, 21 days of reading, 21 days of spiritual practice, 21 days of being all in your relationship, 21 days. And if you do that, it's game changing. Your life will change in 21 days. There's just no doubt about it. It's will you be at your goal? Maybe, maybe not, but you'll be light years ahead. And so you either need to find a 3-week block. Well, it's going to be challenging. There'll be things that happen on the weekends and events and work events, etc. So the thing is, you just have to learn to be able to roll with that. That's it. And understand, which is essentially my next point, or I'll get to that point in just a moment, is that you're waiting then to have more information or to be perfect. So let's tackle the more information part. So you're saying, okay, I want to begin my wellness plan, but I'm still reading 4 more books on how to improve your thyroid, or 4 more books on, why do I have low mood, low energy, low libido? Okay. So then you're going to read through those books. That'll take you up. Maybe you do a book a month. Okay. So now 4 months from now, will you have enough information? No, because you'll learn so much in those 4 books that you have even more questions, right? So it's you'll never have enough information. And really, what are you waiting for enough information? Well, it's the false pretense that you'll eventually know everything that you need to know in order to not make any mistakes. That is a big problem. I dealt with that for at least the first 30 years of my life. And I'll share that in just a moment as well. All right. So if we're waiting for more information, that's essentially the answer to that. Well, you'll never learn enough. I've been doing this now for how many years? 27 years or so. That's how long I've been focused on learning everything that I can about nutrition, exercise, detoxification, functional medicine, naturopathy, Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, herbalism, bioregulatory medicine, Eastern-based philosophy, and so much more, right? Not to mention all the at-home lab testing, studying everything from advanced genetics, biomarkers, single nucleotide polymorphisms, hormones, you name it, right? So it's but there's still so much more to learn. And anybody who says that there's not, it's just, Well, I guess they already have their mind made up, right? Because when I start to now look at, okay, artificial intelligence, machine-based learning, how can we use that to be able to look through millions of labs that wouldn't even be possible in a lifetime, and then be able to aggregate that data and pull it into research points for me so I can then start to look at it, right? So like, again, you'll never have all the information you need. I just want to share that with you. So which brings me to my last point, which is the perfectionism. So another reason people don't get started, so they're waiting for the right time, they need more information, or it has to be perfect, right? So it has to be the perfect plan, the perfect relationship, the perfect setting, the perfect, everything, right? All the stars have to align. And that's a difficult one, right? Because that comes back down to time, and it comes back down to believing that you could even possibly get it right. And I understand, again, like I was totally there. So I was a really bad perfectionist in my teenagers. So like from like 10 years old, let's say, to 20 years old, like really tough perfectionism, meaning like it used to drive me crazy. It really did. And it was because whether I was doing an art project or I was doing, reading or studying for an exam, whatever it might be, like I had to get, an A, I had to do this. Like that was very draining and stressful on my body. Not the main reason I got sick, but certainly one of the contributing factors, like just too much stress I placed on me. And that's the thing about being a perfectionist. Like you're adding too much stress. But the truth is too, like it's also from an ego standpoint that you think you could possibly be perfect, right? And so I think that's what maybe your teenage years and early 20s is for. Some people don't grow out of it. And I was just fortunate that I got knocked down enough in life where I realized, yeah, I'm not perfect. And you need to chill out, relax a bit, and learn and step back and also be open. And so that's what I did, because the perfectionist mentality is that you're somehow going to know enough so that you don't make any mistakes. And so what I want to do is share with you actually the perfect plan right now. This is the way to hit your goals the fastest humanly way possible. And it may not seem succinct, but it absolutely is. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to at least have a plan, right? So you have a goal. Let's just say like everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, but like 2/3 of the world, at least in the United States, they want to lose weight. That is, whether people say it or not, they want to lose some weight. They want to lose some weight for their health, for their quality of life, to get rid of some sleep apnea, for type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, et cetera, right? So it's like, let's just use that for a moment. Maybe you don't want to lose weight. Like I'm again, where I am right now, I'm good with my weight, but a lot of people do. So let's just use that as an example, and you can move it over to relationships, career, finance, et cetera. All right, so here's the thing. You want to lose 30 pounds. Okay, good. So let's say you weigh 190 pounds, you want to get to 160. Fantastic. So you want to lose 30 pounds. Now, you just need you have a good goal, right? Now we just need a plan. And what we should do is, I have a podcast on SMART goals. So I'm going to try to link that up at stephencabral.com/2481. That maps out how you would break this down into weeks and all that. I'm not going to go through that on today's show, but essentially, what you're looking at is a goal of 30 pounds. And then what we want to say is, okay, now certainly that's achievable, and you're going to create a timeline out of that for you. But then you need a plan. Like you need to do something, right? You can just say, okay, so I'm going to choose a nutrition plan, and I'm going to, maybe in the beginning, just walk 10,000 steps a day. Okay. So like, if that's all that it is, then that's fine. So like, okay, you're going to choose a nutrition plan, choose the one that you feel is right for you, whether it's the fat velocity plan we developed, the functional medicine detox, like whatever you want, or, you plan that your friend did and you're going to do it along with them, like whatever works for you, right? Just make sure it's safe. And so you're going to do that. And what you're then going to do is get started, right? Like that's the thing, is like, or you're going to have a goal, have a plan, and get started. And it's not going to be perfect. You're not going to know everything even about a plan that you were given. And the reason is you've never done it before, right? So here's how it's going to work. Literally, I've never seen it work better than this. And the thing is, it is imperfect. It works because it's imperfect. But here's what you can do. You're going to get started. And then somewhere a weekend, the first weekend or the second weekend, there's a birthday party and you ate pizza and you had a beer and you had some cake. And you're like, oh, I really messed up. I gained 3 pounds. Okay. So here's the thing though. That happens. It doesn't matter if it's your career, you're studying for a certification, you're on your way to a health-based goal and you are feeling better, you're having more energy, and then all of a sudden you just relapse and you start to feel tired again. Like these things happen. So here's what you're going to do though. All you're going to do is you're going to learn, right? You're going to implement, and then you're going to mess up. And I specifically chose the word mess up. And the reason is like, you didn't fail, but you didn't follow the plan. You messed up, right? And that's okay. Like that's the thing is like, if you're not watching this in video, you can't see me smiling, you can't see me laughing a little bit, but like, it's okay. You messed up. Like you messed up. You knew you weren't supposed to eat pizza. Like let's not let people off the hook totally, right? Because like we have to take responsibility for our actions. But the thing is, you messed up. Okay, you're human. So am I. We mess up. So what do you need to do? Well, you need to not eat pizza next time, right? Like that's it. Like that, when you get to your goal, or you've been doing this for 21 days, then you get one cheat meal a week. Okay, no big deal. Like you get to enjoy all the foods that you want at that one meal if you choose to. But you're only 1 week in. You can't have a cheat meal or treat meal after 1 week. That's not how it works. So what do? You learn from that. You say, okay, well, next time I'm not going to go to the birthday party hungry. Oh, that's a good thing. So you're going to eat some food right before you go out. And you're going to tell yourself it's only 3 weeks. It's only 3 weeks. But you don't understand that, and you don't learn that until you mess up. So you mess up. Good. And then what do? You learn some more and you implement. Okay. So then you implement, and now 3 weeks goes by and you realize that you haven't been walking your 10,000 steps and your weight loss is starting to plateau. So what do you need to do? You look back and you look at your Fitbit, Apple Watch, Oura Ring, etc., Whoop Strap, whatever you're using, and you realize like, whoa, I've been averaging like 4,200 steps a day. Not even half of what I'm supposed to get. Oh, what happened? Well, you messed up. Right? You messed up. It's okay. You weren't tracking, though, your stats. So if you don't track your nutrition, you don't track your stats, it's difficult to get there because you're not measuring whether you're successful or not. And the only way you're going to know if you're successful or not is with your weigh-ins, if you're choosing to do weigh-ins, and then your nutrition and your movement, your walking, because that's the only 3 parameters that you're actually tracking for this particular program you set up for yourself. Now, it can get more advanced, which is what we're going to talk about next. So now you're doing your walking, your weight loss is back on track, and another 3 weeks goes by, and you start to only lose now a half a pound per week. And you're like, this isn't where I want to be because I still have 16 more pounds to go. So what do you need to do? Well, you need to learn more, right? Like the plan didn't stop working. It worked as much as it was going to work, because let's say you're down to like 1,600 calories a day or 1,500 calories a day. Okay, so you did that. How low are you going to go? Maybe you drop your calories, maybe another 200 if you choose to. You're already doing 10,000 steps. So it's not like the program didn't work. It worked. You lost 14 pounds. So what do you need to do? You need to learn more, right? Keep doing what you're already doing. Don't stop it, right? A lot of people stop. Don't stop. Add more. So now what do we do? Because you already mastered that, right? You get your nutrition, your once a week treat meal. You've got your walking. What are we going to do? Okay, well, we're going to either add an intermittent fast to this. We're going to add specific nutritional supplements if we want. We're going to look at thyroid levels, like whatever you want to do. Like you're just going to pick one more thing. Okay, then you implement that. And then that continues to work. Like, oh, wow, I'm getting even more results. It's ramped up. Now another 4 weeks goes by. You only have 10 more pounds to lose, but you're starting to plateau. So what do? You say, okay, well, what's the next thing that I stack on to my intermittent fast, healthy nutrition, and movement? Oh, I'm going to do now twice a week or 3 times a week strength-based training or high-intensity interval training. Good, that kicks it into high gear. Now you only have, and now you plateau again, right? So what happened? Well, you didn't, again, like, did you mess up? Not really. You took it to the max. That's it. But now you need to learn more. So now what do? Well, now we say we only have 3 more pounds to go. How can we get rid of that last 3 pounds? All right, so now let's look at tweaking the overall health of the human body. We might optimize sleep. We might do a functional medicine detox. We're going to do one more thing in order to, and I would say functional medicine detox just for those 7 days. Boom, you lose 5 pounds. Now you're actually 2 pounds under your goal. You start to add back in a few more carbs so you see what works for your body. And there you go. Now you just gain back 2 if you want. You're at that perfect 30-pound weight loss. And that is what a perfect plan looks like. Now you might be thinking to yourself, wow, that sounded like an absolute mess, right? But that is what perfection looks like. That is actually what achieving your goals looks like. I mean, that's literally it. There is no person on the history of this earth who achieved anything worthwhile, like literally worthwhile, that did not encounter some obstacles or challenges when they just started from scratch. Like that's the truth, right? And so you might say, okay, well, I've tried a bunch of different things in the past. I know it kind of works. I know it doesn't. Well, good. Then you're starting halfway. Like you already have some knowledge. So the only way to shorten this plan, there's 2 ways to do it. One is first, you're going to have a plan that's proven to work for other people like you. Like that's it, right? So you've got a plan. It's from a book. It's an online course. It's whatever it might be, whatever it is. Okay. So you've got a good plan. And that's a good way to shortcut your learning, but you're still going to need it tweaked. So that's what we talk about. And then the other part is coaching, right? So if you hire a coach, you're far more likely to succeed. Accountability, the proven plan, ability to ask questions, how to tweak the plan when you do mess up, right? And that's the thing is is it messed up? Well, call it what you want. Call it plateauing, call it messing up. Just don't give up. That's the bottom line. So that's why when I teach integrative health practitioners and my own Equal Life team, I tell them we don't do one-off appointments. It's just not ideal. If someone's starting with a health-based goal, it's 3 appointments. So it's an intake, and then it's your lab results and your actual protocol, but then it's always a follow-up call. You need the follow-up call. Even the perfect plan, which we're talking about right now, you get the perfect plan, should work great. You're still an individual. We still don't know, lifestyle changes that you've made. We don't know food sensitivities if we haven't tested for that. So again, it needs to be tweaked. So all I wanted to do was share with you today is that you can have the best plan in the world, but if you are not ready to plateau, to mess up, to learn from it, and then move forward, you're going to be frustrated for the rest of your life. You really are. But the nice thing is this. You now have permission to mess up. You have permission to plateau. And all that is a signal, great. Now I've accomplished everything I can from this current plan. Now it's time for me to take this up to the next level. Now it's time for me to reach my full potential. That's how I look at it. Hopefully this was helpful. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into the Cabral Concept. I appreciate you. I thank you so much for your subscribes, your downloads, your shares. And of course, if this show was helpful, do feel free to share it with anyone else you believe it could serve. Take care, everybody. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my health results accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.